and I work at MAG. I've been at MAG for 5 years, and I work with the Aging Waiver Program, which is a Medicaid program. And so I help my clients that are on Medicaid. They have to meet a nursing home level of care, and then I can help them get set up with services in their home. And so I'm going to go over some of those things that I do. And then on this first page, the first column talks about the service, and then there's a brief description, and then on the last column it talks about possible payment sources. So some of these services are paid by Medicare, some are by Medicaid, some are government assistance like in-home services, and that's what we do at MAG. Some are volunteer services, some are VA, and then most of them you can pay privately. So if you don't meet any of those criteria, if you're not on Medicaid, Medicare, not a VA, you can always private pay for some of these services. And then also, so in that column there is lots of payment sources. So as you're looking at something, you're like, and I want you to mark these up, highlight, take notes on it. If you're like, oh, I really need this for my loved one, this would make my life so much easier, would help them. Write it up, mark it up, highlight it, and then you can reach out to us at MAG and we can help you find ways to get these services. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump in. Oh, I need to move my, do you have the little remote, Lynette, to advance the slide? Okay, so this isn't the full picture, but this just gives an idea of the form. So this is, I'm going to talk about services in the home. And then, so after, on the second page is going to go into more detail. So you can see the first page is just a brief description of each service, and then the pages after that are in a lot more detail. So I'm going to go into the more detail, but I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. And then, so if you guys can save your questions for the end, and then if we have time, we'll do some questions, right? Okay, so the first part is caregiver support. You guys are all caregivers, that's why you're here today, and you're here because you needed support. That's one thing that we do at MAG, we do great caregiver support. So these are resources and services for family or friends who care for elderly, ill, or disabled loved ones, including emotional support, education, respite, financial services, and community access. And these are all aimed at reducing stress, preventing burnout, and promoting caregiver well-being. So this looks like, it comes in all different kinds. There can be support groups, conferences like this. Respite care is a break for the caregivers. And then we have lots of education classes at MAG. We teach dealing with dementia. We have a Stress Busters class. So we have all sorts of educational opportunities that if you guys want to take some classes to get more education, just reach out to MAG and we can help get you signed up for those classes. Case management. When a social worker or nurse helps people get the care and support they need, they check what's needed, connect clients with services like healthcare, housekeeping, transportation, assistive devices, and they follow up to make sure everything is working. The goal of a case manager is to make life a little easier and ensure people get the help that they need. So if you come onto one of our in-home programs, you will be assigned a case manager that will be your lifeline. And they will help you get the services that you need. They will coordinate cares. They will check with you monthly or more often as needed, just to make sure that you're surviving, because we know it takes a village. And then nurse care managers with home health agencies, they are case managers. They help to manage patient care and provide the medical skills needed for overall health. And then Lynette is a senior advisor. She's going to talk more about this, but a senior advisor helps older adults and their families figure out the best options for health, housing, finances, and community services. So these are more people outside of the home. If you're looking for what's the difference between assisted living or skilled nursing facility, so she can help. She's going to go over that in more depth. So there's lots of case management services available. Number 3 is home delivered meals. I'm sure you've all heard of Meals on Wheels. It's our most prized thing that we do at MAG. We serve many of our seniors in the community, make sure they have a hot meal. So Meals on Wheels, we deliver a hot meal Monday through Friday to homebound individuals age 60 and over. We deliver to Summit County and Wasatch County in Utah County. We always need volunteers to deliver meals 1 hour per week. So if you guys are looking, we know your plates are full, but if you have an extra hour that you just want to serve, let us know, because we could use some volunteers. There is a fee associated with Meals on Wheels. They ask for a $3 donation per meal. Oh, it's 4. Okay. This is $3. Inflation, you guys. So I guess it's $4 now. If you are on one of our in-home programs, that fee is waived. So, but if you can, and you can pay privately for those, however you need. Then we have other nutritious home delivered meal programs that that are available, such as frozen meals for those who qualify for in-home services or for private pay. So that they usually deliver like a box or a case of frozen meals, kind of like a good TV dinner, and then you just put it in your freezer. These are great for people that live at home. They can cook, but they can't really cook. They can heat something up in the microwave. Mostly these are just microwavable meals. So they just require heating. There's food assistance, the food bank. There's community action programs that provide food assistance. Tabitha's Way, they provide food for those who need financial assistance, and all of this information is on the flyer. Their websites, sometimes their phone numbers. So if you want to reach out to any of these service providers to get more answers. And then you can always try your local religious groups for help with food. And right now, with the government shutdown, we've got some people on SNAP benefits are losing their benefits. And so right now, if you guys, this is the time to really donate to these organizations to help beef up their food, because people are going to really be needing it in the next few months. Personal emergency response. These are great for people who live alone and don't have anybody that can keep an eye on them. So it's a device that you can wear like a necklace, a pendant around your neck, or like a little watch band, and it's a button. So say somebody's walking to the bathroom in the middle of the night and they fall, and they don't have a spouse or a child in their home that they can call out to help. They push their button. There's a little box in their home, and they'll say, "Do you need help?" And they're like, "Yeah, I fell. I bumped my head. I'm okay, but I just need help getting off the floor." So they will call a family member, a neighbor, whoever you have programmed into that system. They will call and them to get some help. They also, if they don't answer, if they say, "Did you fall? Are you okay?" and no answer, or they hear moaning, they're going to automatically call 911. So this is a great service for people that live alone. Or it doesn't really work well for people that have advanced dementia, because they're not going to remember to push the button. They're not going to know to push the button, and sometimes it makes them more confused, and they'll sit there and play with it. But it is a great service. Home maintenance. This is a service for those who need physical and financial help to maintain their homes, and there's a lot that can go into this. Weatherization. MAG has a weatherization program that provides assistance to maintain home climates throughout, or to help with furnaces, insulation, windows, air conditioning. So if you guys have help with that, there is an application process, and you do have to meet financial criteria. There is a company in Utah County called Fuller Center. They're a great company. They provide help with home improvements for those who have low income. They ask for help with projects or payment toward the project based on the client's income. So if you need a ramp or a new roof, you can reach out to Fuller Center, and the website's listed there. There's Habitat for Humanity. You guys have heard of them. They can do critical home repair. They provide assistance with low to moderate income homeowners who need assistance with repairs. And then there's handyman services that they can come and like help put grab bars in your bathroom, just those kind of things, some basic home repair stuff. Okay, number 6, home medical equipment. You guys probably are aware that it takes a lot of equipment when we're taking care of our loved ones. So durable medical equipment like walkers, wheelchairs, canes, hospital beds that are electric, that they go up and down. So there's lots of companies around here that provide durable medical equipment. There's Utah Assistive Technology Program and Ability First in Provo that can help provide medical equipment to those that need financial assistance. So those phone numbers and websites are listed there as well. Personal care agencies. These are agencies that provide assistance to individuals who need help with daily living activities like dressing, grooming, bathing. They can help do some basic meal preparation, and they can help feed, and they can help with transferring, some mobility assistance. And they can do some light housekeeping and laundry as well, and companionship. So those are personal care agencies are really, really needed. Home health services, I'm sure you guys are familiar with these. If someone has a hip surgery and has to come back home, their doctor usually sets them up with a home health agency, and usually you get a nurse to come out if there's a wound, or if there's pain management or medication management. You can get a physical therapist, an occupational therapist. If your loved one has problems with swallowing or speech, then you can talk to your doctor and they can order speech therapy. And so that's a great service. Unfortunately, it's kind of short-lived. Usually Medicare only pays for like 8 weeks of that, but that gets them back on their feet. And this is to kind of help keep them in their home so they don't have to go to a nursing home. And then if you do have a skilled service such as a nurse or physical therapist, you can also have a bathing aide to come in and help with the bathing. So this is great right after a surgery, right after a chronic illness in the hospital that they just need some extra help getting back on their feet. So home health services is great. Also, if you're taking care of your loved one and you just are like, they really seem to have a decline, they're falling more, they're just weak, you can talk to your doctor and they can put in an order for home health services to come to your home to do the physical therapy and those things. So utilize that service because there's a lot of them in the area and they love to come out and help. Medication monitoring. There are lots of devices that you can have somebody in your family fill the medication for either a week or a month at a time, and then it's just a dispensing. And there's all different levels of them. You can have a basic one, you can have a really advanced one. There's some with alarms that will alert the person that it's time to take your medication. So there's all sorts of really cool medication monitoring. There's some that you can even set up like an app on your phone so it alerts you if your mother didn't take her medications. So there's some great systems. Adult day health services. Adult day centers provide a professional care setting during the day that provides supervision, socialization, engagement with the community, and activities for adults with disabilities. These are great for people. I have a couple clients that they have to take care of their aging parents, but they work. And so they're like, how am I going to do this? So we've helped them get set up on adult day health services so they will come and get them and take them to their facility for, 6-8 hours a day, and then they'll bring them back home. And so it just allows the person to still have a job, but their loved ones are getting taken care of. So there's some great adult day health agencies around. So you want to look into that. And like I said, there's different ways to pay for that. Hearing and vision, there's lots of services available to help with that. Relay Utah, services for the blind and visually impaired. There's some great programs there, so you can look at their websites if you need more questions. Respite care services. Respite care is a break for caregivers. I think we all could use a break. That can be provided at home through personal care agencies, friends and family. They can also be provided through assisted living or skilled nursing facilities or hospice. Hospice can provide respite care. Sometimes they just need a temporary place to stay while the caregiver takes a break or needs to go out of town for something. So, and then again, hospice providers can provide respite as well. In-home mobile primary care. So they have in-home primary care doctors or nurse practitioners that will come see clients in their home to review their medications. They can do some wound care. They can prescribe medications. So it's just like a regular doctor's office, but they come to the home. So that's very, very convenient for people that it's really hard for them to get out of their home. So that's a great service. And then there's specialty care. Some specialists like podiatrists. There's some podiatrists that will go to people's homes like every 8 weeks. They bill Medicare to just cut their toenails and to assess their feet. If they're diabetic, it's very important to have a podiatrist cut their toenails, not you, because they need to really look for special things on their feet. So podiatry, an in-home podiatrist is a great service. Wound care nurses, like Lynette says, she does that, and you can go into more detail about that. So they offer mobile services for patients who have limited mobility or complex health needs. In-home palliative care. So palliative care is in between, it's like the bridge between home health and hospice. And so this is a service that we can help people in their homes to help with serious illnesses, to help with their relieving their symptoms, symptom management, medication management. It's just a great service. And then hospice is my baby. I love hospice. Hospice is a philosophy of care for the terminally ill. It treats the patient and family as one unit of care. And they focus on providing comfort care for the terminal patient. And with that service, they help so much. They will provide, this is a Medicare benefit. Hospice, they provide medical equipment. So if you need a bedside commode, if you need oxygen, if you need a walker, a wheelchair, the bed, the hospital bed, the mattress, if you need a special mattress because your loved one maybe has some wounds, they help with all of that. They also provide all of the incontinence supplies, pull-ups, briefs, wipes, gloves, bed pads. They provide all of that. You have the doctor that will see the client to certify them to come on hospice, and then you have the nurse that will come out to see them however often they need. It might just start out slow, like once or twice a week, and then at the end of life, they're going to be seeing them every day. You get the CNA that will come in and help with bed baths, with some feeding, some light housekeeping. The social worker is a great resource as they come and support the family with emotional and social needs, and they can connect the family with community resources. And then they have volunteers that will come in. Some companies have like massage therapists, music therapy that they'll come in and play the harp. I mean, I can't think of anything more peaceful than when you're trying to leave this world that just some harp music is playing. It would be beautiful. So hospice is great, and there's so many great companies around. So yeah, that's just a great resource. So I think that's all I have for in-home. It's a lot of services, but they're all in place to help you guys take some load off of you guys, because it's a big job you guys have. And so utilize these services, and if you need to reach out to us at MAG, we can help connect you with people. We can do assessments to get your loved ones on our in-home programs. So all of our contact information is in this flyer. So reach out, and then I'm going to turn it over to Lynette, and she's going to do her part, and then we'll do some case scenarios. Thank you.
Hello, I am Lynette. Tell me your name again. Darren introduced me. I am a nurse practitioner since 2012 and got certified as a senior transition specialist last year. So I've been volunteering with MAG on their Caregiver Coalition. I am going to be helping get a new support group started just this next week in Provo. So if you guys are interested in support, you've liked some of what you've experienced today and want some more of that community and support with other caregivers, we're going to get started right here in this Provo area at the courtyard at Jamestown. So make sure you stop by the MAG booth if you're interested in joining the caregiver support, one of the caregiver support groups. So with that, we have some great resources. These are a little more consolidated. I did also want to reference my background as a nurse practitioner. I actually worked in palliative care, and something just to add to what Monica just shared with palliative care. I think it's indicated if you have a serious illness, you can get palliative care or a palliative care provider. I used to work with Quality Home Health, and they have a palliative team. There's lots of other home health and hospice companies that might have a palliative branch. But what I wanted to say is if you don't feel like your loved one quite qualifies for hospice, or you're not ready to make that hospice decision, palliative is a good kind of, like she was saying, bridge, but it doesn't have to be a serious illness. I think you can qualify even with 2 comorbidities. So oftentimes older individuals, loved ones that you're helping care for usually do qualify even if they have 2 medical diagnoses. So if palliative is like, oh, well, they don't have a serious disease, just make sure you call or ask. And then I also do mobile wound care as a nurse practitioner, so we go into homes and help with complicated wounds. I work with innovative wound solutions. So I started my business. I have 3 little ones, so I started my business, Senior Transition Partners, last year. I got certified as a senior transition specialist, so like she said, I'm kind of like a senior advisor. I really think of myself as a community case manager in reality. So if you just are like, oh, I remember I have a booth, I think I'm almost out of business cards and brochures, but I have a booth here, and I have a digital business card and a digital brochure, so if I'm out, you can grab those. But even if you just are like, I forgot, there was something Lynette said during their presentation, or there was a booth that was at the conference that I can't remember who it was, I love to just help how I can. So feel free to call, text, my cell phone is on that business card. So with that, I'll go into some of the more living communities. First one is independent living facilities. I like to think of these as senior living, low maintenance lifestyle. So there's people that want to move into independent living with no significant health conditions. They can take care of themselves, but it's basically housing set in a communal living situation, meals, housekeeping, usually provided. They generally include transportation, activities, socialization, and Provident Older Age Living. There's no nursing assistants typically, but oftentimes they have partnering home health companies that will come in. So if there are evolving healthcare needs and more support needed, oftentimes it's a great start to living in senior living and having some more access to people coming in. That sometimes they have in-house home health companies is what I'm trying to say. So even though it's independent living, if things start to evolve with your loved one, then usually you can get a little bit more support. So services through home health, through Medicare or private pay, private duty agencies can be provided from an outside agency. So just like what I was just saying. Next is listed intermediate facilities. So there are 24-hour care options in a facility who've had intellectual, cognitive, mental health challenges. Oftentimes there's basic rehabilitation care, Skilled services are not needed other than a nurse to help with medication and assessing when medical attention may be needed. And these are similar to assisted living by providing kind of basic needs like meals, personal care, housekeeping assistance, with the shopping, errands, and transportation. The difference is that these individuals are often learning basic living skills, so they kind of help with activities that are often able to go to designated workplaces, designed more for those with cognitive or intellectual challenges. So then going into assisted living options, so there's different levels of assisted living. Honestly, from the outside, you guys don't really need to know what the differences are. You can find someone like myself that can help you through the whole process. I take clients on tours, things like that, and kind of let them know the options and how to best navigate assisted living or senior living. But bottom line, assisted living level 1 provides limited supervision and assistance with activities of daily living. So there's typically help with bathing, medication, monitoring, meal preparation, housekeeping, laundry, call buttons. Activities are typically involved, and sometimes transportation. There's a nurse available and able to set up medications. So people living in a level 1 setting are generally able to get around on their own. They're doing okay. They just need a little bit more support. They can get out of the facility without assistance, but need extra help with some of the activities sometimes that were listed above. And then assisted living level 2 has increased supervision and assistance with most activities of daily living. And then all the other services are typically included that we mentioned before. They provide assistance again with the bathing, medication, monitoring, meal prep, housekeeping, laundry, call buttons, activities, and sometimes transportation. There's a nurse available to set up medications. And I will say oftentimes, well, I'll go into this with the next one, which is memory care. So of course, if your loved one is dealing with some cognitive dementia-like issues, sometimes I think people get confused when they hear dementia, Alzheimer's, all these different terms. Dementia is kind of an overarching term for people that are dealing with kind of some of those forgetful symptoms that progress, but there's different kinds. So memory care is a secure community area, because oftentimes assisted living will have like a memory care section, and they'll have an assisted living section. So the memory care, though, is for those who are suffering from memory loss or prone to wandering, hence the secure units typically, and are more prone to make unsafe decisions. So these facilities usually have access with a code to get in or to get out. They usually have a wander guard to get in and out. And then they would typically provide the same services that are offered with the assisted living options as well. So, and then skilled nursing is where we're getting into 24-hour skilled nursing. There's usually multiple nurses on site. They've got rehabilitation, hospice services in-house. And this is usually something that is provided after a qualifying 3-day stay in a hospital or a doctor's order for a rehab facility. There are definitely communities where you wouldn't need to come from the hospital. I'm familiar with some around here, so if you have any questions on those, I'm happy to help. But so if there's even like a decline of physical, mental, cognitive decline, more, recurrent infections or something like that, there may be an indication for a rehab stay or a skilled nursing stay even without a hospitalization. So Let's see here. Medicaid may pay for a long-term stay in a facility after an individual meets the financial and physical eligibility requirements. A person may enter the skilled nursing facility when they need help with at least 2 activities of daily living. So like bathing, toileting, dressing. They usually need a doctor's order and have to meet an assessment provided by a facility of choice. Skilled nursing facilities provide all of a person's needs, basically. So all the things we referred to before, all the activities of daily living needs, as well as additional things. And that is something that if your loved one does have complex medical needs, sometimes if an assisted living is not able to handle all of the medical complexities that your loved one has, then they would say you need to go to a more advanced level of care, which would be the skilled nursing. So my point with that is that there is both short-term and long-term stays typically as an option with skilled nursing or rehab. And then there's substance abuse rehab, of course, probably too extensive to address here. So there is an awesome resource website that's listed in your packet. It's the dsamh.utah.gov. And then there's behavioral hospitals and clinics that offer mental and behavioral services for all ages. There's inpatient and outpatient options, and these can kind of help curb if there's challenging behaviors, no matter what the cause. And then hospice, Monica did an awesome job talking about hospice. So same as the in-home, only provided. So you can do it in-home, but then you can also get hospice services also as an add-on when you're in any senior living community, when your loved one may be in a senior living community. And that being said, I love to add, I think some people are very hesitant. They feel like it's a big commitment to make a decision to put their loved one on the hospice benefit or to start receiving a hospice benefit with Medicare. I think that there's reasons for that, because I think many of you may have heard that when you kind of claim a hospice benefit with Medicare, that typically means that you might be foregoing, following up with another medical provider, things like that. But that being said, or may mean we're not going to go to the hospital, I will say we never want to take advantage of this Medicare service and offering. However, I think it's important to know that if something changed, if you decided, wow, hospice has a lot of resources that could really help me right now, but I just don't know, what if I want to take them to the hospital? It's a line in the sand where, if there was something that happened and you felt like, ooh, I really feel like I do need to take my loved one to the hospital now, you're able to make arrangements and make that happen. And I won't get into the details of that here. Maybe Monica may, she's nodding her head over here, but I just feel like a lot of people miss out on the benefit or take advantage of the benefit too late when they could have received a lot of benefits for a lot longer, because a lot of people qualify long before they start using the benefit, or they would qualify. So, and there's reassessments and things like that, but again, you can go off of hospice, you can come back on. Again, we don't want to take advantage of any benefits, but I love to educate patients and families on that, because I do think it's an incredible resource. And I think sometimes when people hear hospice, they think, that means I have to start processing death. And although, because people think people go on hospice to die, but I think there's so many wonderful resources. It's more people go on hospice to get more help and support and services, and make sure they have the resources to be comfortable. So with that, I think those are the highlights, and I think Monica's going to jump into a case scenario. We've got a few more minutes.
Yeah, we're going to be real quick. Okay, so this is a real-life case scenario. Let me switch. Let's see. I don't want to mess it up. Is that it? Okay. This is my scenario. Client overview. Mr. Robert Carter is an 82-year-old, I wonder if it's the same one. Yep. 82-year-old man living in his family home in Utah County with his wife, Linda. Robert has limited mobility due to arthritis and is recovering from a recent fall that left him hesitant to move around without assistance. His wife Linda is his primary caregiver and helps him with daily tasks such as bathing, meal preparation, and medication management. She's deeply devoted but has begun to feel the strain of caregiving and worries about leaving him alone when running errands or at night. So the challenges are Robert's, I don't know if this, okay, oh, and there's more detail on here. They have children who live out of state, and she has not told them about the situation. She doesn't want to worry family. So this should be an interactive thing, but I don't think we have a lot of time. So I'm just going to kind of state the obvious here. Some of his challenges are his increasing frailty, and he's a fall risk. He has significant safety concerns. Linda feels anxious about leaving him alone and unsupervised. She's expressed growing exhaustion from providing constant care. And their goal is to remain in their home as long as possible while maintaining safety, independence, and quality of life. And so, can you guys think just real quick off the top of your head, what are some of the services that I talked about, in-home services that you could automatically get him on to help her? Meals on Wheels, because meals is an issue. What was? Respite care. Somebody to come in to maybe stay with him while she goes and runs some errands.
Installing pull bars.
Yes, grab bars, all of those things to help because he's had an increase in falls. And so usually that is in the bathroom if he needs help getting on and off the toilet, in and out of the shower. So installing some grab bars. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention when I talked about home health services and occupational therapy, if your loved one happens to go on home health services, I would highly recommend you have an occupational therapist come in and do an assessment and evaluate your bathroom, your bedroom, your kitchen, your entryways and they are great to give suggestions like, oh, you need a grab bar here, oh, you need a bar here, oh, you need this. Like they are trained and in ways to help transitioning and transfers and to help prevent falls. So I would definitely recommend getting an OT evaluation to kind of tell you what you need. Okay, so we mentioned meals. What about she leaves them alone? Yeah, go ahead.
Like visiting angels.
Yeah.
They come in, they can do like housework, cook meals, make sure their meds are taken.
Yep.
Do some laundry.
So they basically are providing respite. So how nice would it be for her to come home and like his laundry's already done, or his sheets have been changed, or the dishes are done. I mean, that just takes a load off of her plate. So that's great. Yes. Yes, the fall risk. That's what I was hoping somebody was going to mention, the personal emergency response button. Because when she just wants to go to the store. She just needs like half an hour to go to the store. And what if he falls? So if she could dare, and teach him, okay, if you fall, you push this button. Sometimes they can't work a phone to call the wife at the store. But emergency fall button, those are great. Those are all great things. So you guys mentioned all the things that I came up with. Home delivered meals, personal emergency response button, respite care services, and of course, get a case manager. Call Lynette, call me, and we will get you help. We'll get you some help getting you some services. Okay, and then you have a scenario you want to do. She said 5 more minutes.
Perfect. I think we'll get through this. And I have mine up here on the slides if I can figure out the right way to go. Okay, so let's see if I can read it from here. So this is, you know what? I think this is right. So this is for Margaret. She's a 73-year-old widow, retired teacher living alone. She has a couple children who are out of state and a couple that live locally, but they work full-time. They're unavailable most days. Margaret's pretty great at attending to her daily self-care needs, her basic home management. She's managing her medications well. She's driving safe. She's handling errands. But she does have a fall. She fractures her wrist. She ends up in the hospital, rehab. She gets back out. But her family has been feeling increasing pressure about her social and safety needs because they're feeling like they're not able to get there and see her and help her as much as they want to because of the recent fall. And Margaret's commenting more about feeling lonely and just wishing family would call or visit more, and they're feeling a lot of pressure. So, we went straight to closing thought. Okay, I think I lost part of mine. So, bottom line, this would be a great situation for someone like Margaret to consider independent living. There's definitely resources like the pendants and things like that for emergencies. That being said, it is always nice to have a community safety, and especially for a family member that is really starting to feel more lonely, still wants that social engagement, and independent living is a great option. When there is advancing needs, and I thought I had more of this scenario up on my slideshow, but I'll just go into it also with a shortage on time. Essentially, when there is advancing needs, many of these communities are either tied to an assisted living, so sometimes people also think like, oh, if we go to independent living, I don't want to have to move her again when there's more medical needs. But there's so many communities, and that's something I help with, where there can be a natural transition where they can advance to more assisted living, like supportive services or memory care supportive services if there's a dementia diagnosis and there's a trained staff that can help with those things. So any other thoughts or resources on this case scenario? Okay, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but lots of support and advancing support with in-home living situations, and also adult daycare. I think, or day services. It usually sounds better, but day services communities are also great too. So, do we have a couple minutes for questions? 2 minutes. Any questions? Yes.
So if we just come to you and we'll tell you and tell us which ones are good for us?
Yeah, and it's really important to me that you guys are aware of the decision points to consider. So I am one of the type of people that I like, there's transparency records that most people don't know about. So you can actually access online the Health and Human Services website that will tell you, have these communities had any instances of neglect of their residents? Have they had any incidences of medication mismanagement? They've got a beautiful chandelier, but does that mean they're taking care of my loved one? There's a phrase in our industry that's the chandeliers don't change diapers. So it's sometimes you don't always know what you're getting with your care, even though it could be a beautiful building. And so I like to help people, guide people through the process of looking into senior living. So I have questionnaires, I have guides and assessments. I help people go on tours and things like that for communities. So, any other questions for me or Monica? I think we have 1 minute left. Yeah.
In your in-home services, do you offer overnight, anything overnight type service?
Are you asking if there are overnight services, like if there's an emergency or something? Oh, if someone's in their home. Oh, sorry, in-home services, overnight services. Do you know about that?
It's hard to find, but if you pay privately, they'll help you. Yeah, Medicaid, Medicare, it's hard to find staff to come overnight. But I think Visiting Angels, are you familiar? I think they can do some overnight. Yeah, but usually it's the private pay. But sometimes you just get desperate. You got to have a break, yeah.
And please remember, sometimes people think I don't have finances for that, but talk to a case manager or someone like a senior advisor. There are resources, like sometimes even if your mom, your dad passed away, for example, if you're a caregiver for your mom and your dad passed away, he was a veteran, you might have access to like funds through the VA that you weren't aware of. So just sometimes we like close that door because we think that's not an option, I can't pay for that right now, or they're going to make me commit to this fee or whatever, but just keep that in mind. So I will wrap up with some closing thoughts here. I think a lot of these case scenarios might mirror to some extent some situations that you all are going through. And just remember, it's helpful to have a proactive approach and plan ahead. So if you can reach out to some of these supportive groups or supportive people, I think you're going to find you're not scrambling as much and feeling as stressed when you know there's a network of people around you that can help. And with that, I mean, long-term care isn't about losing independence. It's about gaining support to live fully, safely, and meaningfully. So with that, I'll wrap up. Thank you all.